If you've ever wanted to make your own soap but did not know where to start, this video is for you. Today, we're going to talk about must-have supplies that every beginner needs to start soaping and without breaking the bank. I'll show you which ingredients and tools are essential, where you can save some money, and a few budget-friendly swaps that work just as well as the fancy stuff. Whether you're mixing your first batch or building your soap-making toolkit, I've got you covered today. Hey everyone, it's Mary with Happy Pint Soap. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm down in Phoenix, Arizona, which means I'm nowhere near my soaping supplies up north in Flagstaff. So I was pondering how the heck I'm gonna get a video out for you guys without my soaping supplies. So here's what I decided to do. I'm gonna create a bare bones soap for beginners on a budget today. That's what we're gonna do. I went ahead and got all of the basic supplies on a major cheap budget so that I can create soap today, and all of these cost very little money. So this will be a great video for brand new soapers who either don't have a lot of money to invest in soaping or just kind of want to play with it a little bit and don't want to invest in a lot of expensive supplies yet. So this video, I'll show you everything I got, I'll tell you the price, and you'll see that it's actually quite reasonable and doable for a brand new beginner soaper. And we'll create a brand new cold process soap recipe as well with just a few ingredients. And it's gonna be amazing, and I hope you enjoy it. And so let's get started. I almost forgot. I have a ton of videos for brand new beginners. I have videos on controlling trace or achieving the perfect trace, how to use soap calc and create your own recipes. I have a recent video on soaping terms, all the common soaping terms like super fat and water discounts and what that all means. All of these will be linked below in the description. So look for those as well if you're a brand new beginner. I have plenty of others on my channel for brand new beginners as well, but those come to mind and you guys will find them very useful if you're brand new to this wonderful hobby. I've just come back from the Dollar General and I've got quite a few basics here that were quite inexpensive. This is a great set of bowls here for only $6. It has all sorts of different sizes. This will be great for soaping because the glass ones, the Pyrex ones that you've seen me utilize very early on in my soaping channel, those can fracture and break because of the intense heat from the lye solution. So I have switched over to plastic, and what you want to look for on the bottom of your plastic containers, and it's probably going to be too hard to see unfortunately, but I did check. You see that recycling triangle there? You want to make sure it has the number 5 on it, and all of these do. The number 5 is the one that's safe for soaping. So these have the number 5 on them. So does this. I thought I would utilize this for my lye solution that we'll be creating. That was only $1.25 at the Dollar General. And then this is a lovely little container, perfect for pouring. That was also $1.25 at the Dollar General. So as you can see, you can get a number of just the beginning kind of soap supplies here for just a little over $1 for these. And these, hey, you got 14 pieces, so it's not too bad for $6. Another thing that you will need if you're going to mix any sort of micas is just some popsicle sticks. So these were also $1.25. And I did go to my local soaping store and I got one thing of Mad Micas. Since we're going to do a grapefruit scent, I'm going to use pink. And this was only $5.50. So Mad Micas, this will last a long time, by the way. So if you just want a few micas just to play around with some colors, get just some basic colors, and you know, the startup cost is not all that much, and this will last you forever, believe it or not. I did get a fragrance that's soap safe. This one is 4 ounces and it's about $10. So some of your most expensive things for soaping will be your fragrances and some of your oils, actually, believe it or not. But the other supplies are pretty cheap. So this was at the Dollar General as well. This is $1.25 for this guy. This is stainless steel. It's a chopper. I'm going to use it to cut up our soap. And then you can never have too many spatulas. So these I actually got at Target because Dollar General didn't have a great selection of spatulas. These were $3.75. They were on sale at Target. So some great spatulas here. You can always make sure you have your eye protection. Quite frankly, $3.50 is not that bad of a price to protect your eyeballs, which are priceless. And you will need something for temperature, right? Because we'll be doing our lye and our oils, and we'll be checking temperature. I don't have my fancy infrared one, unfortunately, so we're going to use this one. It was $8 from Target. It's just a simple pocket thermometer. And last but not least, here are some dowels. I love using dowels for swirls. And again, at Dollar General, they're $1.25. You can reuse these. I wipe them off, and I've used the same dowel repeatedly up north. So these are great for swirls. One of your most important tools for soaping is your immersion blender. Target does have one for a reasonable price. It's 22 bucks. If you already have one of these, feel free to use it. Some people say don't mix your soaping supplies and your cooking supplies. I throw them in the dishwasher. It's soap. It cleans up really well. I wipe it off first. All of my soap, I wipe it off really well with paper towels, and then I just stick all my soap stuff in the dishwasher. So I've never had a problem. It's clean. I mean, my goodness, it's soap. So you don't need a separate one for, in my opinion, you don't need a separate one for just for soaping supplies. So if you already have one, feel free to use it. Otherwise, hey, Target, 22 bucks, not too bad. You got yourself a beginning immersion blender. Almost forgot another thing that's super important are gloves. This is your safety equipment. So yes, it's a little bit more expensive. It's 13 bucks. I think you can get them for about 10 bucks on Amazon. So maybe go to Amazon. You could get a little bit better deal on Amazon, but these were 13 bucks at my soaping store. You get 100 of them. So yeah, some of your beginning startup, as far as the most costly things will be your blender, your safety goggles, your gloves, and the fragrance, as I mentioned, and some of your oils. Otherwise, everything else is pretty darn cheap. Oh yeah, thermometer will be a little bit more. I'm going to run a calculator and see roughly how much all of this costs. All right, and then I'll be back with the total. All right, the grand total for everything was $79.25. By the way, I forgot to show you guys the teaspoons. I use these to measure my mica. I'm oftentimes using like a quarter teaspoon or a half teaspoon. So these are used to measure your mica, by the way. So yeah, for your beginning supplies right now, it's $79.25. Let's talk about the oils. And keep in mind, even if this seems a bit steep, keep in mind that you'll be making a lot of soap. You know, it's quite an addictive hobby. And think about, you know, the gifts and how much money you can save as well, making beautiful homemade soap for friends and family. And, you know, in the store, that type of artisan soap can easily go for $10 a bar. So keep that in mind. You know, it will pay for itself both in the soap that you'll use for yourself, but also as gifts for friends and family. So keep that in mind as we are talking about cost. It's just such a delightful hobby. I have enjoyed myself tremendously. And yes, it can be pricey, but it also doesn't have to be. You can soap on a budget too. So let's go ahead and talk about our oils. One of your most important ingredients in the making of cold processed soap is going to be lye. This lye here is only $4.50 on Amazon. It is just as good as the lye, for example, sold on Brambleberry or other big soaping sites. It is 100% lye. You want to make sure that you're buying lye that is pure. So this is 100% lye. Many soapers use this exact same lye for making their own soap. It works perfect. I've had no problems with it, and it's a fabulous cheap alternative to some of the more expensive lye sold online. And my own local soap store said they are back ordered for lye. They're having a hard time keeping in stock. So hey, pro tip, Amazon for the win here for lye for soaping. Nice and cheap. I think you can get 3 at a time at $4.50 each. So that's going to be your big money saving tip here. The next thing I use frequently as a soaper is going to be coconut oil. Coconut oil is your main lathering oil that provides those beautiful bubbles. This very large 7-pound container is only $24.49 at my local soaping store. You can go to Costco. Costco has about 5 pounds of it for $17. Or if you don't want to invest in a ton of coconut oil, just get a small container. Start with a small container. That'll be even cheaper. The next one I use a ton of is going to be tallow, specifically from, this is lard from pigs. This, again, at my local soaping store is only $28, so it is quite a nice deal here. This is also sold online at Soaper's Choice, but you're going to be paying quite a bit for shipping, unfortunately. So I'm lucky enough that my local soaping store carries this. Again, if you render your own tallow, even better, even cheaper. I don't know how to render it, so I'm stuck buying it. But if you know how to render tallow, beef or pig, hey, more power to you. That's going to save you even more money. Another one that I frequently use, there's my kitty. Katniss, what you doing? Hi. All right, so sunflower oil is going to be another one of my fabulous oils I highly recommend for a lot of simple recipes I use. This one I had to get on Amazon for $33.99. This is a very large container of it, so it will last you quite a while. You know, it's a gallon basically, and you want high oleic sunflower oil. That's the one that's best for soaping. So far, the cheapest one I've seen is this one sold on Amazon. Again, if you can get it for a smaller container that's more affordable and that fits in your budget, by all means. But usually bulk is going to be the cheapest in terms of, you know, oils. The bigger the container, the cheaper they are typically. And then, last but not least, I use beef tallow for a lot of my recipes, especially that recipe I'll be using today. It pretty much uses all these ingredients. This is my 5 simple ingredient recipe, although we're going to pare it down to 4 because I don't have one of the oils because it's up in flag. So we're going to alter the recipe slightly. All right, so this one on Amazon was $39.88. So again, it's a very large container. I believe it's 7 pounds of it. And again, if you can render your own, or get it from a butcher and render it, and you find that to be even more cost effective, please, by all means. I'm stuck here doing the best I can. So this was the cheapest I could find for the money. So as a beginning soaper, you don't need to get these big quantities. If you can find smaller quantities on a budget, please do so, all right? Otherwise, these are your biggest startup cost is going to be your oils. And the last ingredient I'm thinking of using in today's recipe, at least, is purified sea salt, or you can just get sea salt. This is 5 pounds. It was only $7.50, again, from my local soaping store. So feel free to get, you know, a small quantity that's affordable at your local grocery store if you don't have a lovely soap store near you. But otherwise, sea salt is amazing in cold process soap, and it's going to go really well with that grapefruit fragrance. So I'm planning a design with this guy as well today. But you can leave it out. You don't necessarily need it. But if you like to have an extra special soap that's a little fancy, feel free to grab yourself some of this as well. And the last thing I completely forgot, you need a scale. One of the most important things, all your oils, your lye, everything has to be weighed and it has to be accurate. So go ahead and get yourself a simple kitchen scale, whatever is the least expensive model, hopefully. And the last thing every beginning soaper needs is a mold. And oftentimes those are very costly as well. So I'm going to show you a tip here on how to make your very first mold from scratch with just a simple shipping box. This is from Amazon. If you have shopped there recently, you might have a very similar size. But yeah, any cardboard box will do. I'm going to use this one because it pretty much probably will hold about 4 pounds of soap is my guess. I'll test that later when I weigh it. But it'll be perfect for a beginning soaper, and it doesn't cost you a lot of money. And let me show you how you can prepare this so that it's ready to go for soaping. So what I've done here is I've cut off all the flaps, and I use the 2 long ones to make the bottom of the mold. I'm just going to set them in here like this so that it forms a nice flat bottom. And then we're going to use some parchment paper, and that's going to line our mold. All right, I've got the parchment paper here. I'm going to cut it to fit perfectly into the inside of our mold. So let me measure that out real quick. All right, I'm just going to eyeball it first. Cut straight across. And then, let's see, we're going to cut off just a little bit extra here. Let's see, let's start with this. We can always adjust as needed. All right, that's pretty good. So you're going to lay it down in there. I might have to cut off just a little bit more. I don't want it overlapping a little bit on the side here, so let me cut just a smidge more. All right, let's see if this will do it. Ah, perfect. That's really nice. And we're gonna tape this carefully over the sides. Let me get some masking tape. All right, let's try to tape this nice and secure. And then I'll do the other side. Oops. Want it to be as straight as possible. Tuck it in the corners there. There we go. Let me tape this over here. This reminds me of Christmas presents. And I have never been good at wrapping Christmas presents. I may be asking a lot of myself today. But for you guys, I'll do anything. All right, that's not too bad. And remember that the soap will weigh it down. Okay. Is this not going to work because it's parchment paper? I have a feeling I might have to use duct tape. It's not going to pop up every time. That's going to be super annoying. Parchment paper is very anti-grippy for the tape. All right. If all else fails, I'll go to duct tape. That'll fix it. All right. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to put another bit of parchment paper on the other side, go in the opposite direction so that it forms mostly what I hope will be a leak-proof container, crossing fingers, or as leak-proof as soap can be in a cardboard box, if you get my drift. Hey, we're working with what we have here, people. I don't have my molds here at home in my Phoenix place. All right, let's go the opposite direction now. All right, we're gonna do much the same. We're just gonna kind of eyeball it. And let's put this down in the bottom and see how it fits. Ooh, not too bad, not too bad. I think that will actually do it. All right, and we just need to tape it as well. Yeah, that's pretty good. I think this will work, guys. All right, let me get my handy dandy masking tape here. Oop, you know, I probably don't want to have it down that far. Maybe this will work. All right, we'll do the other side. Make sure everything's nice and tight as it can be. And then we'll be ready to start soaping. This is very finicky. It's very fiddly. I am not a fiddly person, which is why I love silicone molds. But we're gonna try it, guys, because we all started somewhere and we don't all have a fortune to spend on soap supplies, which I totally get. And I want this hobby to be accessible to as many people as possible because I love it. I love it. It's my happy place. All right, you know, let's try it, guys. How terrible can it be? Famous last words. I think this will work. And again, the soap won't be as perfect as a silicone mold, but this should do it. This should do it. I think it'll work. All right, let's get started on our recipe. I mentioned that I thought this would hold about 4 pounds of soap. We're gonna find out. So you see how it says this is about 2.9 ounces right now, this box. What I'm going to do, it's almost exactly 3 ounces. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna fill a plastic Ziploc with water, and we're gonna measure how much water this thing can hold. And that way I'll know exactly how to adjust my recipe to fit in this lovely Amazon box. All right, I have a gallon Ziploc here. It's just a simple Ziploc. Normally, if you had a, I'm gonna zero this out because I know it's about 3 ounces to take off. Normally, if you have a silicone mold, you can just fill it with water, but I'm not trusting a cardboard box with water, so we're gonna do it this way. All right, let's see how many ounces are so far. If we were to kind of spread it out, I bet this will be perfect. Oh, apparently, let me try that again. All right, are you going to show me 0? Perfect. All right, let's put this on here. How much water? All right, so that says about 66 ounces. We're going to take 3 ounces off because that was the weight of the box. So we're going with about 63 ounces of soap. So that will be our recipe. I'm going to adjust it to fit a total of 63 ounces of fluid. And as I thought, this does indeed hold about 4 pounds of soap. I did the math, and 3.9 pounds. So yeah, 4 pounds pretty much on the nose. Being able to tell the sizes of containers just from looking at them comes with experience as a soaper. So I nailed it. This is very close to some of the slab molds I have up in Flags. So I could tell approximately 4 pounds of soap. So indeed, 3.9 is officially 63 ounces. So we're going to go with that, and we're going to adjust our recipe to be a 4 pound recipe. Maybe a little bit less just because I don't need it to come up to the top. But yeah, let's get started on that. I've made some adjustments to my 5 ingredient recipe since I only have 4 with me here in Phoenix. What I did not have was the castor oil, which can really support bubbles and lather. So the one difference I made was I just upped the coconut oil to 22%. I think before it was like 18%. So this will have more coconut oil, which will give it a better lather. But everything else remained the same. The lard is at 30, the tallow is at 30%, and the sunflower oil is at 18%. That's exactly the same as my 5 ingredient recipe, and castor normally was at 5. So because I don't have castor down here, all I've done is up that. So what you'll see is the cleansing went up a little bit because there's more coconut oil. Coconut oil is very cleansing or stripping. It can be kind of drying. But I'm hoping it will not be too drying still because of the very nourishing high amount of the tallow, as well as our super fat is 6%. I could up that if I really wanted to, but I think it's going to be okay. I'm going to leave it. We have a pretty high water discount here on purpose. Those of you who watch my channel know that I love water discounts because they just help to cut down on soda ash and other problems. Our fragrance amount is going to be about 3 ounces almost. It's at 2.9 ounces. And our water here is at 12.24 ounces. We have our lye here at 8.16 ounces. And again, grams is over here. So anybody who lives in a different part of the world, the grams are also listed. And so everything is here, and I'll include a screenshot of this as well for you guys to utilize. Hopefully you guys will not be too disappointed because I think I'm going to break this up into a part 2. It is Halloween and it's getting towards the evening, and I have an event I have to go to and enjoy time with my family. So I think I'm gonna go do that and wait and actually make the soap tomorrow. I think I'll plan on making it tomorrow. So you'll still be able to see part 2 in the next day or so after this one is published. So be on the lookout for that. And I hope you guys really enjoyed all this information. I hope it was helpful. I hope if you're brand new, you feel a sense of improved confidence that you can indeed get started and not break the bank. That's my hope. Feel free to drop any comments below if you did find this helpful, or if I can answer any other questions you might have. I'm happy to try and do so. And I look forward to seeing you all in the next soapy video. Take care, everyone. Bye.